appreciate you taking the time out to talk with me. I know
Hmm.
you and the guys are busy getting ready for whatever's next, whether the minor's happening or not, and you got a new guy on your
Yeah.
squad, so I'm sure you getting him acquainted.
Yeah.
But let's start off with you. You've been a part of competitive Counter Strike since 2011, where you played for 3D Max. Fast forward now to 2020, and you're regarded as one of the best players to ever touch the game. Before CS became your career, what did you aspire to be?
Um, Basically, I don't even remember. I don't know myself because I was going to school, but I have a small technician degree. That's something that you can only have in France. So it's like from the age of 18 to 20. And I was like studying, and I did my degree to get a PA, so personal assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this, but I was starting to play CS in the same time. So when I say starting to play CS, I was playing professionally from my 19. So I did half of my year plus playing CS in the same time professionally. So from even then, I didn't know what to do, so I just did something random, basically.
Yeah, just kind of like I don't know what's next for me, so I'm gonna take this, and this is something I'm
Yeah,
kind of interested in.
I
So
was playing a lot of CS, so my dream was to play CS, and it kind of happened.
yeah, it kind of happened in a big way because you have 13 land trophies in total, two of which are majors. Which of those is which of those wins is cemented deeply into your memory, and why do you think that one sticks out above all the others?
I mean, there is one is the first major I won, so DreamHack Winter 2014,
Mm-hmm.
and why it's just that was one of the first majors. That was one of my first like big teams, so LDLC back in the days, and we practiced a lot. When boot camp for like a month or two before this tournament, so we were ready for it. We really wanted to win this one, and with all the story inside the tournament, with the all of boost, the fact that they just forfeit the game after because of the bug, and then in final we make a comeback on the last map, we win in overtime. There's just so many close stuff that makes it a good memory. Of course, it would have been terrible if we would have lost it. I would have
Yeah,
probably have the same memory, but in the other way, like my worst loss, basically.
right. Yeah, well, you're right. There was a lot of history at that event. I didn't even put the Olaf thing together. You're right. There was a lot of history there, and I bet that served as like a form of validation too for your career. It was like I've won stuff in the past, but here I am. I've won the biggest event that there is. Uh,
Hmm.
I bet that had a lot of validation in it. Um,
Yeah.
I hated that we didn't get to see Team Heretics at IEM Katowice 2020, but your fellow Frenchmen on G2 made quite the statement with their performance. Tell me about how the French scene is evolving and if you believe that it could become the best region in the coming years, and what would it mean to you to see the French flag above all the others?
I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about the French now because, for example, G2, the one that had a good performance, they are not fully French anymore as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have Nexa and Hunter now, and one of them is the in-game leader as well. So they kind of switched toward the international instead of being fully French. But I guess the management in general is becoming way more professional, and there's way more people around the players in France, in the big teams at least. So Vitality um, and G2, they have really a lot of management that's taking care of the players and
Yeah.
a
So
good position to play CS.
yeah. So that structure around them, is something that is also pushing it forward. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, they have less pressure on themselves. They don't have to think about everything. They just have to think and focus about CS, and that's all they have to do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And then you being a CS veteran yourself, with two major wins and is an essential part of your role within Heretics, providing structure and calm to the team in intense and high pressured situations. And how do you generally go about being that voice in those moments?
I mean, but in like every tense moment we have in the matches and stuff, if I have something to say, they usually follow my voice and they're just listening to everything that I have to say because they know I've been in this situation multiple times, and I always manage to get the better of the situations. And they know I'm kind of cold blooded, so when we play and when we're in like really tense situation, I'm usually really calm. So they know that I'm gonna be thinking straight, and I won't be taken over by all the emotions and all this stuff. So in this kind of like really really hard situations, they usually listen to my voice, and that's it. I don't even have to justify myself. They just kind of know.
Well, I bet that feels good, like knowing the teammates around you, trust your opinion
Yeah,
and value it
it's
to
always
that
good.
point.
It's always good to have a team that trusts you, whatever you say.
Yeah, for sure. And here recently, talking on the team, Team Heretics decided to replace Jane with Nevera. I read the press release about the decision to release Jane, and it stated that while he was an excellent player, there were other aspects that held him and the team back from reaching full potential. Nevera is a young and ambitious player. What do you think will be his advantage over a more experienced player like Jane?
The thing is, like, these two guys are two completely different people. The only reason why we had to um, like separate ourselves from Jane is just the fact that he was an excellent player, skill wise, but he couldn't integrate himself to the team. He didn't make that much efforts with us, so it's like we're more like four people in one, and not a unit of five.
Right.
And if we want to be a good team and a team that performs, that cannot happen.
Yeah,
So
especially performing at a high level. Yeah.
we had really much issues in personal level and in the being professional, that he couldn't stay in the team anymore. So we had to take someone like Nivera, that's a really young and ambitious player. He really wants to win and he's really talented. And he's more calm, he's ready to win, and he wants to learn. So that's the big difference.
Right. And I guess also him being young, it would probably be easier to fit him into your mold, right? So, Jane could have had tendencies or things that he liked to do where Navarro's coming in, as a fresh talent, and you say, this is where we want you and this is where we think that you'll help the team the most, and he just kind of goes with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young player, so he's still like searching himself in what is the best role for himself and all this stuff. So we don't put any restrictions on him. He's trying to find out what's the best for him with us, and we're gonna help him to find out what's the best.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, speaking on the team once again, most recently, you and your squad took down Heroic, who are now Fun Plus Phoenix, and OG in 2-0 fashion to make it to the Europe Minor for ESL1 Rio 2020. FPX is a top 15 team. OG had an amazing showing at the Blast from Your Spring series, so taking those two down is no small feat. The Europe Minor bolsters even more stout competition than the qualifiers did. How are you guys preparing to take on that tough competition?
I mean, since we just changed the play, we're literally starting back to kind of zero.
Right.
Not really zero, to like 0.5, because we still have the base, but we still need to fit what's new with the new player. So, I mean, we're just practicing, trying to find out what's the best playstyle for us, what's working for us, and the way we can approach it. Because like these matches against OG and Heroic, um, we didn't do anything special. We literally just played our playstyles and we went on with it. We didn't try to anti-strat them. We didn't try to do anything crazy. We just played and it worked perfectly.
Right. You just ran your defaults. Yeah.
Yeah, we literally just felt the game and played this way. So now that we have a couple of months to figure out what is the way we want to play, that's going to help us a lot because, first of all, we don't have all the big leagues that everyone is playing on.
Mm-hmm.
So it also helps us to be able to prac way more, even if we are registered in LVP, ECN in France, and ESEA Open because we need to grind the league somehow.
Right. Yeah, and that actually leads me into the next question. It's while I'm sure you and the team would love to be competing in one of the ongoing CS:GO leagues, do you think the squad's ability to practice and scout out competition under the radar will provide you an advantage going into the Europe Minor?
I think it could, but it could also be a bad thing because then we don't have enough official matches against good teams to be able to judge how good we are. So it's only depending on practice results, and this is not usually accurate. So even if you're really good in practice, it doesn't mean we're going to be really good in officials against good teams. So
Right.
it could be a good thing and a bad thing, but only when we're going to play is going to tell.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you don't have to worry about getting anti-stratted necessarily because people aren't
Yeah.
scouting you out. But at the same time, you don't know if what you're doing even really
And you don't know
works.
if your game is good or not, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I thought about it in the you're playing under the radar aspect, but I didn't think of it as
Mm-hmm.
or what we doing even working aspect.
Yeah.
Um, and then lastly, I have to ask you about the Krieg, the 553. I've noticed that you haven't been using it too much. Is this just due to the way your team is structured and your oil within it, or do you not particularly care for it? And do you think the gun needs further balancing?
um, I mean, I kind of use both now, but it depends on my positions and what I'm gonna do during the round. And I think it's the same for the whole team. I know some people prefer, like Nivera prefer the AK, Lucky prefer the Krieg, etc., etc. But usually for myself, it depends on what role I'm gonna have and what I'm gonna do in the round. Because if I know I need to run and don't stop, I'm gonna take an AK. If I know I need to aim long distance, mid distance, I'm gonna take a Krieg, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's depending on my role. And does it need further balancing? I don't think so. It's I think it's decent. You see people playing with the AK and you see people playing with the Kree. Now it's kind of balanced. Even it's only overpowered if I think a CT gets it because
Yeah.
they can just like sit, hold a line, and then just shoot, basically. So maybe it has to get weakened a little bit, but that's it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is, it might not necessarily be overpowered on Terror side because you don't really have the luxury of just posting up somewhere.
Yeah,
But
but for CT
CTs,
it's
they
different.
just
Yeah,
post up and they have it, and it's one click to your head and it's over. You know.
yeah.
Um, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining me, Fabien. Before I let you go, I wanted to get you to say where the fans can find you on social media, and if you're streaming or making videos, where can they find those? And did you have anything you wanted to say to your fans and the Heretics fans out there?
I mean, first of all, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. Even if I use more Twitter than Instagram, my Twitter is literally just kioCSGO, and my Instagram is kioShiMax.
Mm-hmm.
I do stream sometime on kioCSGO on Twitch, and I mean, the thing with Heretics fans, they're mainly Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, so it's kind
Yeah.
of hard for me to communicate with them. But the only thing I can say is "Vamos Heretics." That's
Yep.
all I need to say, and they understand it.
Yeah. Heretics, Team Heretics made their move into CS:GO, or not CS:GO. I'm sorry, Call of Duty last year, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever they'd come in, the chat would just span "Vamos, vamos, vamos,"
Yeah.
and that was like their staple. But yeah, I noticed that Heretics was a majority Spanish
Yeah,
organization.
they have a huge Spanish community behind them.
Yeah, well, you can convert them over into being French fans. Yeah,
True, true.
so,
Only
so
results make new people comes.
right, right, absolutely, absolutely. And with you on the team, I don't think you'll. I think you're a strong asset for any team, no matter what. So I think that you and the guys are going to do great. Um, and then you can also find Team Heretics on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Team Heretics has some
Yep.
amazing Adidas merch on their website. They have really cool stuff, really good stuff that you can rep them and cheer your kioShiMa on in. And once again, thank you, Fabien, for joining me. I appreciate it.
No worries.
And like I said, I look forward to watching you guys play, and hopefully the coronavirus stuff doesn't mess up the major. We can only hope.
I think it will, but because like like they stopping. I think in Malta they shutting down the airport Saturday. They will shut it down Saturday.
Oh,
No incoming flight, no outgoing flights for the next I think 30 days or something.
yeah. So I guess maybe think of a question real quick. So do you think so? The Pro League and Flashpoint and all that stuff went online. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that they'll move the minor to be online and just reschedule the major, or do you think they're just going to
I think
cancel it outright?
it's probably going to be really hard because okay, you have the minors. They from so you have the EU minor, CIS minor, all this stuff. It's per region. But after this, usually straight behind you have the play-in. That is
Yeah.
one team from each region.
Yep.
how are you gonna make them play together? It's literally impossible. So I don't know how they're gonna do this, basically.
Yeah, well, I guess we can only hope. We can only hope.
Yeah.
Just keep our fingers crossed. But if not, like I said, I'll be looking for you guys, however I can find you, whether it's ESA matches or whatever. So, but appreciate you joining me, and I'll chat at you later.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
See you.
Bye bye.